Hello, I'm Tracy Cullum and I run Cambridge Cookery School. Today I'm going to show you one of our really tasty recipes. I'm going to show you how to make lavender cookies. Very quick and simple to make. Three main ingredients. We've got some butter here which is nicely softened, some lavender sugar and some flour. The flour I'm using is plain flour and rice flour. Rice flour gives a lovely crunch to the biscuit. The lavender sugar is actually lavender that's been put into caster sugar or granulated sugar, so you get both the taste from the lavender pieces and from the sugar itself. But to actually make the biscuits, we're going to sieve out the lavender to start with, because when we cream the butter and the sugar together, it will break down the lavender bits and it will be quite bitter. So we'll take those out to start with, then add them back in later on in the recipe. So I'll just start with that now. Okay, so then sugar and butter together. And again, we're just combining the butter and sugar. We're not creaming them as you would a cake, just simply mixing them together. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to add the lavender back into the mix. Then I'm going to add my flours and then combine to form a dough. So you might think this isn't going to come together, but just give it a few minutes and it will. And once it looks like it's starting to form a dough, so we've got quite big pieces there, I'm just going to switch to using my hands rather than the wooden spoon. But you can see if you press it against the side of the bowl, you can see that that's pretty much there. So I'm just pressing it together with my hands to bring it together as one piece. And I'm just working it a little bit. Okay, so with these biscuits I am actually going to roll them out. It does end up being quite a sticky dough, and you don't really want to add any more flour to the dough. That just dries it out. So I'm actually going to roll the dough between two pieces of cling film. You can also use greaseproof or baking parchment. So I'm just pressing the dough down into, roughly a circle shape, and then we'll put some more cling film on the top and then just gently roll. Just going to turn the dough and just roll once more. And once you're happy with the thickness, and the dough is a nice and even thickness, you can then use a small biscuit cutter. So the next step is to cut out your cookies, and here I'm just using a circular cutter. You can usually get about 16 or so from the dough, but it just depends how thick you like to have your cookies. Get one more there, just about. And then it's just simply a case of transferring them to your baking sheet, and I've just lined this with some baking parchment just so they come off the sheet nice and easily once they're cooked. So this bit's a little bit fiddly, but you just ease them gently onto the baking sheet. You just peel away what you don't need. So once you have cut out all the cookies, they just need to be chilled, I'd say for about 15 minutes or so in the fridge, and then they can go straight in the oven. So the biscuits have had time to chill in the fridge now, so they can go straight into the oven, 170 degrees, and they'll need about 10 to 15 minutes. So the biscuits had 15 minutes in the oven. I left them to cool slightly on the baking tray before moving them, but I'm displaying them on the plate here, and I've just sprinkled some lavender sugar on the top just for decoration. That's how you make lavender cookies.